Welcome back. It is time for a new colorway. That's right, another brand new colorway. I think that's like the fourth one we've released this week, but no matter. This one here is called Polish Paradise. It is a absolutely gorgeous set of greens, a little tad bit of blue, but it is based on a photograph that was taken in Poland, and it is a gorgeous, gorgeous colorway. We're going to get into it real quick here. First thing we're doing, toss the yarn into the pots. Get a little bit of soak in there. We've got quite a bit. This is another one of those mid-immersion colorways. I really like how these are playing out, so I'm going to do a few more of those. Basically, what we do is we put a lot more soak than we usually do, and you can see that dye is really moving across the yarn itself. So we're really getting a lot of movement and a lot of saturation out of it. Sorry, not necessarily saturation, but we're getting a lot of blending with our colors. So I know right now it looks like there's a lot of blue in the pots. This colorway is very green. This green kind of takes over the blue, and that blue just brings a little bit more depth to the green itself. So some of this blue does pan through, but it is mostly taken over by the green itself. Like even this blue we're putting into the pot here is just kind of adding to that green texture. So now that that's done, get our hands in here, get this all mixed up, and you're going to see that blue just kind of start to disappear as we do this colorway. It really is a very green colorway, which is absolutely gorgeous. I can't wait for the big reveal at the end, that's for sure. Now our next step is to make sure that we cook this very, very well. You don't really want those colors to bleed too much when you start flipping stuff, so I'm not going to make you sit through that. Through the power of editing, let's skip ahead a bit. Now that these are all cooked off, it is time to get them flipped over. Now, one thing I will mention is it's always a good idea just to get these zip ties kind of out of the water, sticking up, so that when you start grabbing these things, you don't have to worry about, accidentally grabbing some extra strings. We give them a quick little twist here, drop them back in the pan, and you notice there's a lot of white. Now, if you've made it this far into the video, I've got a surprise for you. Remember when I was talking the other day, we were going to do a giveaway with a brand new colorway never released on my website? Today's that day. We're going to take and do a giveaway here, not for 1 or 2 or 3 skeins, for 6 skeins in our Misty River colorway. That's right. Brand new colorway, never been released. It is being called Misty River. So these are the 6 right here that we're going to be giving away. And they are going to Soxy Nana Alice. Big congratulations to you. Now you might be asking yourself, Tyler, how do I get in on these giveaways? Well, that's easy. All you have to do is go hit that subscribe button. That's right. We select all of our winners from our subscribers. So go subscribe to our channel right now. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit those notification bells. You don't want to miss a thing. In case you were wondering the inspiration for this one, yes, we did the yarn first, the photo second. The photo was actually a submission from somebody who saw the colorway being shown in a previous video, and they sent us this photo, which I think really, really matches extremely well. So the name of the colorway is Misty River, and it was inspired from this photo, not necessarily the colorway itself, but again, sometimes things just fall into place. So I'll say it one more time. Go hit that subscription button. You might be our next winner. Now let's get back into the pots. So we've already finished the front side. Time to do the back side. We're going to get this yarn flipped over. You can see there's still quite a bit of white on this side. Even though we were mixing that dye, pushing it in nice and deep, we're really only dyeing, 50, 60, maybe 70% if we're lucky on this side. So it is time to get a little bit more dye into the pot. Now, on this side, we're going to do the same thing we're doing on the front side. We are going to take and push this up just a little bit. We want to make sure that the yarn is nice and uniform across. We don't want any humps or anything like that. We're going to do a little bit of a blue zigzag here. Get it on all of the yarn, front to back, side to side. What this ends up doing is producing quite a variegated colorway at the end, and that's exactly what we're going for. We don't want any quick color changes. We kind of want everything to blend together. So nice little shot of blue. Then we're going to throw some more green into the pot here, and finally a little bit of gray. Now what the gray does on this type of colorway is basically just darken up the colors that are already there. So we really get quite the quite the variation just by adding a little shade of this or a shade of that. And the colors really play together. They really blend quite well together. And that is exactly what we're going for here. So get them mixed up. There is one more step we need to do, but we need to take and cook this a little bit first. So cook it off real quick. Next thing, we're going to take and put some speckles on here. Now this actual speckle is a navy blue, actually, and it comes through as extremely dark, like almost like a black. It does have a little hint of blue in it, just the tiniest little bit, but it is a very, very powdery dye. So it really comes down in chunks, whereas if I was working with like a charcoal or something like that, it's more like sand, right? It just flows nicely out of the spoon. This one, powdery, chunky. Next thing we need to do, make sure you cook it off for a good long while. That is a lot of dye sitting in a single location. So you really need to take and cook it off, get that steam going, get it nice and hot, and make sure that that dye hits and strikes and that you're not going to get a ton of bleeding. If we were to pull these out too soon, that navy blue would just bleed down the skeins and completely destroy what we were actually going for, which was a green colorway, right? So we've got that navy in there. Very beautiful. As you can see, it's cooked long enough. There is next to no dye coming out in our pans. We are 100% ready to rock. And I know it's kind of hard to see here, but I just want to show you real quick. These are the ties, and if you pay attention to the ties themselves, you can actually see if you've accidentally grabbed a strand and have it going the wrong direction. So definitely pay attention to your ties. They will let you know whether or not you've grabbed all the strands that you were supposed to have before you skein it up. If we leave one of those strands kind of go in the wrong direction and then you toss it on Swift, you will get a horrible, horrible mess of things. It will just tie up into a little knot and just cause absolute chaos. So make sure when you're tossing your yarn on your Swift, you pay attention to those ties. They are going to be your godsend. All right, we got the first one twisted up. Get another one twisted up here for you. This colorway it's really got a lot of levels to it, and I kind of like how it plays out. We've got a little bit of light green, a little bit of dark green, and then that navy blue is, I'm going to say it's subtle. It kind of creeps up on you because you half expect it to be a black when you're really looking at it, but if you get in nice and close here, you can kind of see how it bleeds out into that navy blue color. So it's pretty cool on that side of things. As always, when you're twisting up your skeins, make sure you tuck those little ends in. They can be a little unsightly. It doesn't affect the yarn in any way, shape, or form other than looks. So I always like to take and tuck them in when I'm doing my skeining. Highly suggest you do the same. No, it doesn't change anything. Yes, it's a little extra effort. You win some, you lose some. I don't know how else to put it. All right, so look at that colorway. Next thing we need to do, it's time to throw this in the light box and really give you a good close look at it. So you can see those greens, you can see those blues kind of coming through there. Even then in the light box, you're not getting what you want to really show. I know it's a beautiful color, but just when you got it on video here, it's coming through a little bit more muted than it really is in real life. So this colorway is a lot brighter than what you're seeing right here. We're going to clean that up for the big reveal at the end. Now, I want to show this AliExpress. When this is spinning around, you kind of get a feel for whether or not a pattern's emerging. This one, again, we were going for a highly variegated colorway, and it really came through quite nicely. I wasn't really seeing, streaks or spirals or anything like that coming across. So absolutely beautiful. I love it. Look at that. Oh, it's perfect. Absolutely perfect. I love how those dark speckles just kind of jump in there at random. It is so cool to see. Exactly what I was hoping for. Love it when a plan comes together, right? So on the Swift here, I've said it before, I'll say it again. There are two strands, a start and an end. The end is generally the one that tucks in behind the skein itself. You don't want to be pulling on that one when you're caking or creating your balls, because it's just going to twist the skein and create a little bit of a mess for you. So toss it into the caker here. Get this spun around. I always like to throw the center pull, in and just kind of tuck it in a little bit so it's not whipping around. Myself personally, I don't work with center pulls. I don't like center pulls, not because they're not easy to use, but because when you get to the end of the skein, it just collapses on itself, and every single time. I always get a knot. It always ends up in a knot for me. So I like to take and use the outside of the cake itself. That's my thing. I don't know about you. Let me know in the comments. What do you like better? Do you like center pull, or do you like to take and use the outside string? Beautiful cake. Absolutely stunning. What I want to show you here is on the outside of the skein and the inside of the skein, across the cake itself, it is the same color. That is what we're going for. We want to make sure that everything kind of lines up that way, right? That tells us that we mixed everything super duper pretty. Now, let's do some variegated yarn pairings. So, in the center, we have Polish Paradise, and up beside that, I have Lazy River. So it's another green and blue and things of the sort. Up beside that was Jungle Waters, a little bit of a lighter green and a blue. And then we have Mountainside. This one pushes a little bit more towards the green side of things. And then up beside that we have Riptide. Riptide has a little bit of that green in it, but it really fades over to the blue side of things. So another great pairing to take and go with this one here. And finally, up last, we have Starlight, Starbright, which is basically blues and grays. So from one side to the other, we kind of start off with a blue and a gray, and then we move all the way into that bluish, greenish, navy blue goodness. Absolutely beautiful pairings. They'll be up on the website, as always. I think it's time we do some semi-solids. So right up beside here, we have Teal, which is a great colorway. I love my teal. It is beautiful. And beside that is Midnight, a really nice, dark, vibrant blue. Midnight is another one of my favorites. It really is. And then beside that, we have Leaf Green, which kind of plays into that lighter green. It is a beautiful green. Myself personally, I like the Forest Green, which is up next, by the way. The Forest Green is kind of my go-to, but this Leaf Green really matches up with Polish Paradise quite nicely. And then finally, to finish it off, kind of pair into the dark side of Polish Paradise, we have Charcoal. So another beautiful pairing right there for your semi-solids. If you're looking for a semi-solid, that's the way to go. Let's do the big reveal. We've got those greens, those blues, that navy. Really doesn't do the inspiration photo justice. It is a stunning inspiration photo, I gotta tell you that much. As always, we have a swatch available on our website, the last photo of every single listing. Make sure you go check it out. And here we go, Polish Paradise. Look at that. Absolutely stunning. You've got that green edge, a little bit of blue in the sky, and just, beautiful. If you haven't hit that subscription button, I highly suggest you do it now. We're going to be doing more giveaways, so stick around, check it out.